Hola fool, it's Papi Diego. And today guys, we are going over the 5 tips to instantly rank up to diamond, so that way you can show it off to all your friends that you're better than them because you watched a Papi Diego video. Now this video is going to have tons of information. It's going to be very lengthy and very in-depth, so make sure you grab some food or you just put this video in the background and listen to it because you're about to get hit with tons of knowledge. Here at the Papi Diego channel, we don't do no bullshit. By the way, if you want to win a free battle pass this season, make sure you go ahead and follow my Twitch. I'll be announcing the winner in 5 days. Anyways, let's get to the yap session. The first tip I have for you guys is to work on your aim, positioning, or hero mastery. I'm going to break down 3 of these categories in just this segment of the video in of itself, so this is a lot of valuable information. And if you're in bronze, silver, or gold, if you just master one of these, it'll literally carry you out of these ranks. You can simply just out-aim all of your opponents and get to gold. You can simply out-position your opponents and get to gold. And if you're in these lower ranks, you don't have enough hours on a specific character to consider yourself a master at this character. Now, to improve your positioning, it depends on which hero you're playing. If you're playing a more ranged duelist like Moon Knight, Hawkeye, Hela, the ideal positioning for these type of heroes is high ground. While it's the opposite for heroes like Black Panther, Magic, or Psylocke, these heroes' ideal positions are more on flank routes and on the off angles to enemy opponents. And just in case you don't know what off angles are basically where the enemies are not looking. Learning these heroes' ideal positionings will put you in better success to inflict damage on the enemies. Now, this doesn't just only go for duelists, this also goes for vanguards and strategists. So if you're constantly dying as a support, it's probably because you are standing out too much in the open, you're standing in an area where you're not keeping an eye on the enemy Psylocke's flanks, and you have to keep in mind to keep your teammates in your LOS. So always think to yourself, what is a good position where I can see all of my teammates and heal them all effectively? And you have to do this in the middle of a match, which isn't very easy, but the more you think about this and the more you implant this in your brain every single game, it becomes second nature. If you're a strategist main, every player is out for your neck, including your teammates too, probably. So you have to be aware of high ground positions, flank routes, angles that enemies can get the drop on you, and with vanguard positioning. And as a vanguard, are you making space for your team? The best way to make space for your team as a vanguard is simply just moving forward and flushing out enemies out of certain positions. And not only by just moving forward and pressing the issue, but also looking where the enemy duelists are possibly out of position as well. If you see a Psylocke going on your backline, that Psylocke is by definition out of position. You can easily go kill that Psylocke with your team, or you flush out that Psylocke and now you own that space, and Psylocke is going to be much more reluctant on actually coming back to that area. Same thing goes for high ground. If you're playing Doctor Strange and you see a Hawkeye on a certain height, you can use your flying ability as Hawkeye and flush this Hawkeye out of that position to protect you and your teammates. As a vanguard, you're not meant to be getting a whole bunch of kills, but it is completely fine to play aggressive on a duelist that's by themselves, that's possibly in an advantageous position that can potentially harm your team. I go way more in depth in this in my Doctor Strange video, so make sure you go check that out as well. Now that was positioning. Now we're going to talk about aim here. And if you're in any rank below platinum, your aim needs to be trained every single day. And a lot of people don't even warm up their aim. They play one quick play match and they just hop into comp. But I'm here to tell you that your warm-up routine is very important. You can go into the practice range to work on your aim and your mechanics, or you can go into a conquest mode, which is basically a team deathmatch. And if you're playing heroes that really revolve around aim, like Hawkeye, these are heroes that you absolutely need to have your aim completely warmed up. Even on melee heroes, you have to be warming up to practice on your combos. Now, there's a difference between aim training and warming up, which I will get into later in this video. The last part of this segment of the video is hero mastery. If you don't have at least 6 to 8 hours on a certain hero, then you haven't mastered that hero yet. And I want to use Spider-Man as an example here. Spider-Man has new tech every single week. There's new combos, there's new one-shot combos, there's new animation canceling. So you might have mastered him in week 1, but now in week 6, there's new things to be learned, therefore there's new things to master. And that goes for every hero, whether it's Magic, Winter Soldier, blah, blah, blah. It's better to learn 2 heroes and spend all of your time on these heroes than to learn 7 different heroes and barely master any of them. Now, that was a very long and detailed segment of the video, but now we're going to talk about tip number 2, and that is aim training. Now, there's a difference between aim training and warming up. Warming up is just getting ready for a long comp session with your friends and just trying to get the juices flowing, while aim training is dedicated time to improve your mechanics and your aim. So we're talking about 15 to 30 minutes at least of training your aim. And there are different types of aiming per hero. Learning how to aim on Winter Soldier is is much different than learning how to aim on Hela. The difference between the two is that with Winter Soldier, his bullets are projectile, meaning they have travel time, so you have to estimate on how fast the bullet will travel to the enemy opponent, while with Hela, it's hit scan, so wherever you point it, it will land there immediately. So aiming on Hela is going to be a little bit easier than aiming on Winter Soldier. Aim training can also be different for Magic. Magic's dash is kind of hard to hit when you're in the middle of battle, so you want to be practicing this as well in the practice range. Now, the best way to train your aim is to go into the practice range, put a bunch of Spider-Man bots or anyone who has a very small hitbox, put the bots on super fast, and try to aim train these bots on multiple distances. If you're aim training on Star-Lord, try to do more close-up distances, because a lot of times with Star-Lord, you're going to be fighting people up close. If it's Bucky, try to do up to 20 meters to maybe 30 meters. If you want to be a freak, then go ahead and do it to 40 meters. That's perfectly fine. But putting these bots on super fast, they are faster than any hero in the game. If you're able to hit these super fast bots, you'll be able to hit anybody. You heightening the challenge in aim training will make it so simple to hit shots in real games, it'll be like a cheat code. If you do this type of aim training routine for 15 to 30 minutes a day, you will see drastic improvements in your aim and your mechanics that you will be racking up extremely quickly. And this doesn't matter if you're on mouse or keyboard, this works for everybody. And if you're a person who likes using melee heroes, you still have to do this. If you're playing Black Panther and you're constantly missing your dashes, you want to go into this practice range and start working on your combos. Same thing with Spider-Man, same thing with Magic, and even Iron Fist. What I personally do, I spend 5 to 10 minutes per hero that I play, which will be equivalent to 30 minutes. Remember, this is aim training, this is not warming up. So you don't have to do this every single day, but I highly recommend you to do so. You guys need to understand aim training is so important. All of the professional esports players in multiple games all do it. They take it so seriously, they spend hours on aim labs or just the in-game practice range to improve their mechanics in their aim. I'm going to use another game called Valorant as an example. I would spend 10 to 15 minutes to warm up in the regular practice range of Valorant, and then I would play at least 5 team death matches, which equated to 1 hour of training. I was an absolute freak at that because I wanted to be the most warmed up possible for my comp games. This is what makes all of the insane esports players special, and you should be doing it too. I feel like this video has been super long already, but the third tip of this video is going to be VOD reviewing. And a lot of you guys are console players, so in case you don't know, VOD reviewing is basically when you watch the replay system and you rewatch what you did wrong in the games. Now, a lot of us don't like VOD reviewing. The biggest hurdle is we don't like looking at our own mistakes. It's very easy to just play a game, lose that game, and just instantly queuing up again and again and again, losing again and again and again. But we never tell ourselves to stop and look at the VOD and to just see what mistakes you were making. And to a lot of us, our ego is so large that we don't even want to see us making those mistakes. I'm talking from personal experience. I don't like watching my own VODs because I hate seeing the dumb mistakes that I do, and I'm just like, whatever, like I won't do it again, whatever. Or I'll just keep playing, and then the mistakes will slowly go away. No, you have to see your mistakes firsthand. You have to see your mistakes in your face. You have to humble yourself and tell yourself, okay, what is it that I did wrong? And that takes a lot of guts, especially from men like us. We never admit when we're wrong, okay? Now, VOD reviewing is so important. If you want more proof of how it's so important, just look at physical athletes on what they do. For example, look at basketball players. They will play a full game of basketball and then that next day watch the entire game in like slow motion and see exactly what they did wrong and where they can improve. Basketball teams even have separate coaching staffs that get paid a yearly salary just to watch VOD reviews to see exactly what the team did wrong. So watching over your own gameplay is so important, and it's literally a cheat code on succeeding and just getting better at the game. And all of the esports teams do this as well. Imagine as an esports player, you play hours of ranked and then you play hours of team practice and team scrimmaging. All of that equated to 8 to 9 hours, and on top of that, they do VOD reviewing afterwards. Now, of course, not all of us want to be esports players, but you get my point. Now, the fourth tip I have for y'all is adding more friends. Every single time that you win a game of Marvel Rivals, you need to add all 5 of those players players who helped you win that game. Oh, Papi Diego, my teammates suck. They're always throwing and they're always like insta-locking or whatever. So when you win a game, there is no excuse. Start adding people, especially the people who are playing very well. Be nice, be pleasant to everybody, and just start making friends. You can even go to Discord servers to make friends, which, by the way, I have a Discord server linked in my description where there are over 1,000 people in there, and majority of them are bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So get out there, get social, and start making some friends. Now, tip number 5, and it's probably the most crucial tip this entire video, and is that everything is your fault. Nothing is my fault. I have very bad teammates and they absolutely just throw my games, and I am not the problem. It is actually them. You're wrong, okay? Everything is your fault, okay? Yes, there's a lot of throwers. Yes, there's a lot of insta-lockers, and there's just tons of randomness when you're playing by yourself. I understand that it feels like that there is nothing that you can do in these games sometimes. Every single game, what they all have in common is that you are in every single one of them. So that means the one thing that you can actually control in these games that's not controlled by randomness is you. You are the common denominator. Your bad habits, your mistakes, your poor mentality is the only thing that you can control in these games. Now, that doesn't just go with games, but it also goes with life. Tons of things are going to be thrown your way, and there's going to be times where you feel like you have absolutely no control over it. But what you can do as a person is prepare and be ready for those moments. And the best way to get ready for those moments within games is to do every other tip that I said in this video and improve yourself, because the more you improve yourself, the more consistent you will be. And the one consistent person that's in all of your games is you. So instead of wondering and complaining why your teammates are unreliable, start making yourself more reliable. So start adding all of these tips to your schedule and you'll hit diamond guaranteed this season. If you made it this far into this video and you're not subscribed yet, man, you know what to do. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace!